Hi, everybody. I'm Dr. Brian Ardis. This is the Dr. Ardis Show, and I'm excited to spend some time with you today. This entire podcast is titled Cataracts, the Natural and Proven Solutions. This is a part two to the part one about cataracts. The actual presentation, part one, was titled Cataracts, What Your Medical Doctor Won't Tell You About Cataracts. And in part one, you learned that most of the time, your ophthalmologist, your optometrist, and any medical doctor is going to tell you that all cataracts, the majority of all cataracts, are caused by your age and by UV light exposure from the sun, for example. You've just got too much UV light and it's damaged the lens of your eyes and created cloudiness and blindness. And as you learned in part one, cataracts affects, half of the blind people in this world. It's caused by cataracts. So I'm very excited to share with you what it is I've since learned about cataracts and what the natural solutions are. We're going to dive right in there. So this presentation is all of the hope behind those who believe the only option is surgery. You've all been lied to. You've been told that only surgery is your option, when in fact, I'm going to take you through studies, both for humans and for animals, where they've been able to prove that you can prevent and reverse, literally in days to months, cataracts. There are three major types of cataracts. We're going to just highlight a few of those. We went over those in part one, but we'll touch on a few of those. But there are some very specific natural cures and their doses at which you can take supplements, make dietary adjustments, and introduce foods into your body that they publish and they know are absolutely resolutions to cataracts. This has been asked for by many, many people around the world as I've met them. Will I please do a presentation on all things that we need to know about cataracts and how to prevent them, possibly how to reverse them? And I'm about to give it to you. So sit back and enjoy. I'm about to give you a PowerPoint presentation and walk you through all of it. Just remember, this is part two. If you don't know about the causes of cataracts, you need to go back and watch part one, because you're going to be shocked at the amount of prescription medications, 70 of which are published to be known to cause cataracts. Not probable, not maybe. No, they know 70 prescription drugs directly cause men and women to develop cataracts. So that's why you hang out with me at the Dr. Ardis Show, to learn stuff your doctors won't tell you. And I kind of made jokes about it in the first part. I said, ask your doctor every time they prescribe one of these medications that I physically showed you in that PowerPoint on part one. Next time your doctor asks you if you would like prednisone, for example, I said, ask your doctor, hey, doc, are you telling me cataracts and blindness are right for me? Because that is the number one drug that they know, steroids, that cause cataracts to form in the eyes of individuals who take them. All right, that's part one, though. Go back and watch that. Now it's all the solutions. Here we go. Let's dive in. Here's the PowerPoint. And remember, the entire PowerPoint presentation I'm about to show you and walk you through all the research, all of that PowerPoint is available for free, just the PowerPoint, underneath the patient resources tab at thedrardisshow.com. So go to patient resources, go to the cataracts part one, cataracts part two PDFs, and download them and share them with all your loved ones. Millions of people around the world every year get cataract surgeries and are only told this is age-related. That is a flat-out lie. All right, so here we go. There's also surgery is the only thing promoted as the only solution. That's not true either. You're about to learn. So here we go. I'm very excited to share this with you. If anything, I've always been very, very keen intellectually in thinking over and over and over, God, I hope nothing ever happens to my eyes. I don't want to be blind one day. I don't want any reasons to have to do surgery on my eyes. In fact, I've never done LASIK surgery. I've been told I'm a candidate. I just don't want any surgical procedures on my eyes. I wear glasses for a reason since I've been very young. But to cut on my eyes, open my eyes, I have no interest in doing that. So if I can preserve my own vision, I take stuff every single day, and it's not a joke. Every day I have for decades to protect the vision as I have it, so that I never have to, hopefully, have cataract surgery or LASIK surgery in the future, or any other kind of surgeries, like virectomies, which is what you're going to learn about in part one. I showed you that virectomy is a surgery for retinal detachments. 20% of all people that get that procedure will have cataract surgery within 10 months to 12 months after it. That's 1 in 5. More of them will have cataract surgery within a 24 to 48-month period. But if you get that surgery, you are banking you're going to have cataract surgery within a year. All right, so, but your medical doctor's probably not going to tell you that when they tell you need that procedure. So anyway, this is me educating you on what is the hope for those who suffer with cloudy vision, blindness, and are told that they're in beginning stages of cataracts or full-blown cataracts, or they've had surgeries for cataracts, and now those new lenses are starting to cloud. This show is for you. Cataracts, the natural improvement solutions. You can scan the QR code on the screen. That QR code will give you direct access to put in your email so we can notify you every time we come out with a new podcast, each week, a new topic, a new health solutions, or a destruction of the narrative around a health topic so you actually know the truth and hope and healing. When it comes to cataracts, we have got to talk about vitamin C first. So for those of you who are not sure or unfamiliar, vitamin C plays a key role in preventing and delaying the onset of cataracts, as you see on the screen. So I'm going to highlight some sentences here. Follow along with the red highlighted statements. Cataracts, or the clouding of the lens, is the leading cause of blindness and is responsible for 51% of all global blindness. Age is a major risk factor for cataracts, they tell you. You learned in part 1 what the real reason is, with the disease progressing gradually, appearing first, they say, in the 4th or 5th decade, but not affecting vision until typically the 6th decade. The 6th decade is very important. We highlighted at the end of part 1 about cataracts and what causes them. What happens to men and women in their senior years in America and around the world, starting in their 6th decade of life, that directly leads to them developing more cataracts. The only available treatment, they state, you see on the screen, for cataracts is surgery. False, you're about to learn. It has been calculated that delaying the onset of cataracts by 10 years would halve its incidence around the world, and therefore reducing the need for and cost associated with cataract surgery. If we can just delay the onset by 10 years, the start of cataracts, you could reduce all cataracts by half worldwide. And that's what this presentation is all about. Because of the proven association between the lens, cataract, and oxidative damage, stress, antioxidant supplementation, like vitamin C and antioxidant supplementation, has been promoted as a treatment strategy to slow the progression of cataracts. Vitamin C, they state, also known as ascorbate or ascorbic acid, is present in the lens of your eye and surrounding ocular humors, which bathe the lens of your eyes at a concentration 50-fold higher than that found in your blood. Let me repeat. Vitamin C, known as ascorbate or ascorbic acid, is present in the lens of your eyes. Vitamin C is in the lens of your eyes. And there's 50 times more vitamin C in the lens of your eyes than there is in your blood. Now, they reference here that it's not only in your lens of your eye, vitamin C, it's also in what are called ocular humors. I do not like doing presentations and not showing you what they're referencing. So I'm going to show you what an ocular humors is. It's not funny. It's not that kind of humor. Ocular means eyes in Latin. Humors means water chambers. So I'm going to show you, by definition, this is the Cleveland Clinic. The aqueous humor and vitreous humor are the two humors of the eyeball. And I know most of you don't know this, so I have to show you, because this is very important to understand how vitamin C prevents cataracts and delays it. You've got to understand what these two things are. So aqueous humor and vitreous humor. Cleveland Clinic states, the aqueous humor and vitreous humor are bodily fluids located in your eyes, so bodies of water. While they're mainly made up of water, they also have other components that nourish and protect your eyes. And I'm going to show you what they are. Here they are. This is your eyeball. These two highlighted areas, you'll see aqueous humor and vitreous humor. You'll also see the lens. You'll see the lens, I highlight there in the middle. That's what they remove and put a fake one in when you have cataract surgery. If you notice the aqueous humor and the line from it, you see where it goes? It goes in this little water chamber right in front of the part of your eye. It is before your lens, this body of water in your eyeball. Inside that body of water, there is 50 times more vitamin C than in your blood. And that vitamin C, you're about to learn what it does to protect the lens from cataract formation. Okay, so you notice the aqueous humor, When sunlight or light is coming from the outside into your eyeball, it has to go through the aqueous humor before it hits the lens. And this is important to understand. The aqueous humor of the eye is before the lens that develops cataracts. I'm keeping it on the screen, but highlighting the next statement. Vitamin C acts as a physiological sunscreen to protect the lens of your eyes from ultraviolet light induced oxidative stress damage, and to regenerate vitamin E and glutathione to further increase antioxidant capacity. Vitamin C is like a sunscreen for the lens. Remember, it has to be in front of the lens to protect it, like putting sunscreen on the outside of your skin to protect your skin. Vitamin C in the aqueous humor is in front of the lens to protect from UV light damage. Also, the vitamin C in both chambers of your eye, aqueous humor, the lens, and the actual vitreous humor, it's there to create vitamin E and glutathione to further reduce oxidative stress on the eyes and lens. With advancing age, they say vitamin C in the lens decreases. And a decrease in vitamin C in the lens is associated with increasing cataract severity. So as vitamin C levels go down as we age, cataract formation goes up. Consumption of additional dietary vitamin C can increase the concentration of vitamin C in the lens. If you eat vitamin C rich foods or vitamin C supplements, it raises the increase of concentration of vitamin C. And there is evidence that the incidence of cataracts may be higher in persons who have a low blood concentration of vitamin C. How many eye doctors and eye surgeons have ever told you you're developing cataracts? You should probably start supplementing vitamin C. This indicates that vitamin C supplementation may help to replenish and restore vitamin C levels as we age to protect against cataracts. Vitamin C supplementation is beneficial to the lens, and whether it affords protective against specific types of cataracts is what they're looking at. Of particular interest is the potential of vitamin C supplemented to prevent cataracts following vitrectomy surgery. I showed you this retinal detachment surgery in the first part of the cataract presentation. Vitrectomy patients have a high chance of developing cataracts within 2 years after the surgery. You should all be on vitamin C if you've had that surgery. They conclude here in this part of the research paper, an enhanced knowledge on vitamin C pathways in the eyes will be a key to the design of targeting nutritional strategies aimed at reducing the onset of cataract to avoid the looming cataract epidemic. And I showed you the numbers of this epidemic in our part one series of part one of cataracts. All right, so now we're going to dive into what is the disease progression of cataracts, and this is going to be a quick review of the different 3 types of cataracts. So etiology means the disease process of the different types of cataracts. So I just want to remind you, in case anybody's skipping past part 1 and going to part 2 for cataracts, you might as well get a refresher here real quick, or a new awareness of what the 3 types of cataracts are. So I'm going to show you. Cataracts can form in different parts of the lens with 3 main types of cataracts, classified according to the location in the lens in which the cataract first forms. And below you'll see these. A cortical cataract, which manifests as an opacity or cloudiness in the edges of the lens and is highest among diabetic patients. That is this one, highlighted in red. That is a cortical cataract. Wraps around. You see the black part all the way around? That's the peripheral, the edges, mostly in diabetics. From diabetic medication, by the way. I showed you that in part 1. Nuclear cataracts, the second type, is where the cataract first occurs in the very middle of the lens, the center of the lens called the nucleus, and is typically associated with aging, they say. Not entirely true. I showed you in part 1. But there it is in the very center, nucleus cataract. Then there's what's called the posterior subscapular cataract. They abbreviate this PSC. You'll see it later on in this presentation also. So posterior subcapsular cataract, which forms in the back of the lens and is often associated with the use of certain medications, including corticosteroids and diabetes medications. That is this one. So you'll see the black areas on the back of the lens. And now they're showing you what it looks like for real in a lens. So You'll see a cortical cataract is on the far left. You can see the lens. You can see it's all the way around. It just looks cloudy. When you get to B, B is the nucleus cataract. You'll see this white cloud right in the middle of that I don't know, glowing greenish blue area. That's called the lens. Then when you look at the PSC cataract, you'll see it's pointing at the posterior part of the lens, and you'll see these little bitty specks of white on the bottom. It looks like sediment on the bottom of the lens. That's just the back of the lens. That is the cloud. That's the one you see with the vitrectomy surgery for retinal detachment. All right, in all three types of cataracts described above, it is clear that oxidative stress plays a major role in cataract formation. Vitamin C plays a critical role in consuming oxygen. Oxygen creates the oxidative stress. Vitamin C consumes it. It destroys the oxygen and maintains low levels of oxygen within your eye, suggesting that replenishing vitamin C in the lens and vitreous humor, the water chambers in aqueous humor, is a viable strategy for minimizing oxidative stress and reducing the risk of cataract formation. Roles of vitamin C in the eye in the same study. In humans, high concentrations of vitamin C exist in the aqueous and vitreous humor, exceeding the blood concentrations by as much as 20 to 70-fold. How many of you knew that your eyeball had 20 to 70 times more vitamin C than your blood does? And this prevents you from developing cataracts. I just highlight here what vitreous and aqueous humors are. I want to remind you, those are those water chambers of the eye. In humans, the high concentrations of vitamin C in the aqueous humor, the one in front of the lens, together with its ability to absorb UV light, vitamin C absorbs the UV light, have led to its referral as a physiological sunscreen, preventing the penetration of UV light and photoinduced oxidative damage to tissues, with several studies reporting that vitamin C in the aqueous humor in front of the lens acts to protect the cornea, the lens, and other ocular tissues against oxidative damage. And there they are. Remember, the aqueous humor is in front of the lens. This is from the research paper. I'm not going to tell you what this is. You see the eyeball. What I am going to show you is I want to highlight to you, these are pathways in which nutrients are moving in various parts of the eye. I just want to highlight for you, you see 5 areas in which vitamin C is required for the eye to be healthy. 5 different areas of the eye where vitamin C is required to keep the eye healthy. This is a study, an old study from 1985, actually. Senile cataracts. This is over 40 years ago, actually. Senile cataracts. These are old people cataracts and ascorbic acid loading, which is vitamin C loading. This is not new. People have known this. This is awesome because it actually tells you what amount of vitamin C to use and how quickly it works to get into the eyeball when you eat it or swallow it. Here we go. At high blood concentrations, there is a maximum rate of ascorbic acid, vitamin C, transfer to the aqueous part of the eye in different species of animals, including man. So at high blood levels of vitamin C, it transfers that vitamin C, called ascorbic acid, abbreviated AA. It transfers the vitamin C into your eyeball. From our near physiological loading experiments, where they gave you various amounts of vitamin C, it is seen that 50 milligrams only of ascorbic acid, vitamin C, at a single dose does not even change the blood levels of vitamin C. So if you just take 50 milligrams and swallow that in a capsule, it does nothing. Doesn't add any more vitamin C to your blood at all. However, 2 hours after 500 milligrams are taken, there is a large increase in the blood level of vitamin C, indicating adequate intestinal absorption into the blood. 500 milligrams, 2 hours, you can see vitamin C in the blood. Despite this rapid response, the first significant sign of raised aqueous level in the eyes of vitamin C is not found until the 12th hour stage and after 1,000 milligrams of vitamin C is taken. This is very important. If you want to increase the vitamin C in your eyes, you have to know this information. You have to take at least 1,000 milligrams, and it takes about 12 hours before what you swallowed, 1,000 milligrams of vitamin C, into your body in a supplement form It's going to then go, or from food, it's going to move into your bloodstream, and it takes about 12 hours to raise the vitamin C levels adequately in the eyeballs. The maximum rate of ascorbic acid, vitamin C transfer to the eyes, is reached even later than 12 hours. This fact explains why in 1952, some doctors still quote this study, that you take vitamin C and it doesn't do anything to get into your eyes. Yes, it does. But in this research in 1952 that people to this day still quote, watch what he did. He gave some vitamin C and then he waited a small period of time to see, did it increase vitamin C levels in the eyes? And it didn't. You're about to learn why. They just told you it's 12 hours and longer. But they're explaining here to other medical professionals and researchers, when you read this study, you're going to find out why Kornfeld in 1952, the researcher, failed to produce any change in the eye's levels of vitamin C after having maintained 10-fold or 20-fold the elevation of vitamin C in the blood for only 1.5 hours. His research study was, let's give them a whole bunch of vitamin C, and he could see in an hour and a half that there was 10 times more vitamin C in the blood and 20 times more vitamin C in the blood after 1.5 hours, and that's when the research would stop. Then they would test the eyes to see how much vitamin C is in the eyes, and they wouldn't find any increase in it. And he states here, this researcher states here in this paper, read the last sentence, his observation period was simply too short, because in this study, they prove that within a 12 and 24-hour period, you can raise the vitamin C level in the eyes if you just take enough. This is straight out of this research paper, and I want to show you. This is very important because when I tell you the recommendations, the last slide of this presentation is all of my recommendations of what I'm about to show you that are cures for cataracts and known to prevent cataracts, and their doses. And they're specific because of these studies. This is why I have to go read the studies. Some amounts work, some amounts don't work. Well, you're about to see which ones work. They're on the screen. You'll see in red AA intake in milligrams. AA stands for ascorbic acid, which is vitamin C. In fact, it's the vitamin C I have at the Dr. Ardis show. Ascorbic acid. You will see 0 milligrams of vitamin C in a study. You'll see 50 milligrams, then you'll see 500 milligrams, then you see 500 milligrams twice, then you see 500 milligrams twice daily for 10 days. Those are different studies. I'm only going to highlight specific numbers on here for you to focus on. Ready? In blue, I've highlighted in blue. Before the research study started, they measured the blood amount, serum amount of vitamin C, and the eye amounts of vitamin C. And I'm going to show you, before they gave them any of these amounts of vitamin C in red, we're looking at the blue area, they're going to show you how much vitamin C was in the eyes of these people. And I'm only going to focus on those numbers, of which when they gave somebody, you'll notice the first the ascorbic acid intake one was 0 in red. The second row is 50. I'm going to start at 50 milligrams because this is when they started giving any vitamin C. But you'll see the first study where they gave 50 milligrams of vitamin C, the vitamin C measurement was 1,397 in the eyes before the study was done. Before they gave 500 milligrams, the people's average vitamin C in their eyes was 1,731. When they gave 500 milligrams of vitamin C twice a day for 10 days, the measurement was 1,514 in the eyes. Watch what happens after they give them the vitamin C in red. Now I'm highlighting it in orange. This is during the studies. Watch what happens to the eye vitamin C level. You'll notice when they gave 50 milligrams, read to the right, you'll see it was 1,397 in the eyes before they gave 50 milligrams, and then it went down to 1,277. It actually went down in the eyes. When they gave 500 milligrams, it went from 1,731 in the blue area to 1,690 in the orange area. It actually went down too. But look what happens when they gave 1,000 milligrams a day for 10 days. It went from 1,514 in the eyes all the way up to 2,331. It went up by 800. That is much more vitamin C in the eyes when you give them 500 milligrams twice a day, which is 1,000 for 10 days straight. And you will see here, I just highlighted in green, this is the most successful doses, is 1,000 milligrams every single day. You eventually will see within a 12 and 24-hour period, I'm about to show you, that the vitamin C level in the eyes goes up. This is vitamin C. from the Dr. Ardis Show. Nature Wins is our brand. And in it, we actually give you 1,000 milligrams of vitamin C in a dose. That would be 3 capsules of our ascorbic acid, our vitamin C. Now, there are foods that are also rich in vitamin C, and it is absolutely true. You eat these foods, it increases the vitamin C load in your body, and this is a very, very good idea to introduce these foods into your body. So I want you to be sure you don't always have to take a supplement. Make sure you introduce these foods too. Here we go. So here's the highest levels of vitamin C found in specific foods: cherries, berries, guavas, plums, black currants, broccoli, kiwis, lychee, yellow peppers, rosehip, mustard, spinach, greens, chili peppers, oranges, strawberries, papaya, lemons, kale, parsley, chili peppers, persimmons, Brussels sprouts, thyme, sea buckthorn, Bruce young shoots. All right, that's vitamin C. You have to be on 1,000 milligrams of vitamin C at a minimum if you want to start seeing improvements in your eyes and provide the physiological sunscreen for your lens of your eyes to prevent cataracts. Number 1 is vitamin C. Now we're going to dive into vitamin D. Vitamin D deficiency and the specific type of cataract called posterior subscapular cataracts. And as a reminder, this is the one on the bottom right. It's the one where the back of your eye turns dark or cloudy. Just wanted to show you. Now, this is actually what it looks like. If you looked into someone's eyes, this is what it looks like. It looks like there's sand sitting on the back of your lens. And here's a whole bunch of examples of what different posterior subcapsular cataracts look like in real human eyes. All right, so let's dive into this specific type of cataract, which is one of the 3. This one we talked about in part 1. Goes right in line with this very first statement I highlighted. Prolonged corticosteroid use. Corticosteroid, asthma inhalers, and steroids you swallow can lead to the development of these specific cataracts called post-subscapular or subcapsular cataracts. We'll just call them PSC from here. PSC and can be reproduced in vitro in a lab or in the body of a human or mammal by incubating clear, removed lenses of an eye of any animal or human in hypocalcemia medium, meaning you put it in a medium, some petri dish that has low levels of calcium, or by feeding animals diets deficient in calcium or in severe vitamin D deficiency states. That's where they get these lenses for this research. In all, 175 humans with PSC types cataracts, vitamin D levels were low compared with age, sex-matched standard humans. Significant differences in vitamin D levels were noted between PSC subjects taking or not taking calcium supplements or systemic steroids, osteoporosis medications, etc. And you guys got to look at this. This is incredible. In 5 early stage PSC patients, those with cataracts, taking 5,000 IUs of vitamin D a day for vitamin D deficiency, there was resolution of their cataracts during the 2-year follow-up period. Wait, what? Holy cow, they just told you. I just showed you a statement from the very first study in this presentation that the only solution to all cataracts is surgery. They just told you that in this study of these 175 patients, they actually had 5 of them who were in the early stages of these cataracts that when they started taking vitamin D at a very small amount, 5,000 IUs a day, there was resolution of their cataracts during the 2-year follow-up, meaning their cataracts disappeared, meaning they don't ever need surgery. How many of you should be on vitamin D? All of you, including me. Their conclusion from this study was vitamin D levels for most PSC patients fell below the 30 nanograms per milliliter calcium homeostasis threshold in your blood. In this series, vitamin D deficiency was associated with PSC cataracts, suggesting that raising the level of vitamin D intake may reduce PSC incidence. It ain't just surgery needed, people. Now, here we go. Inside the study, this is what they found in the study. That was just the conclusions from the study. But I want to hammer this home. Significant differences in vitamin D levels were noted between PSC subjects, those with cataracts, with and without certain risk factors and variables, including those who took calcium or didn't take calcium, or had steroids, or took osteoporosis medications or didn't. Then they rehammered this statement. 5 patients with early stage multiple axial posterior and in the front of their eye lenses, subcapsular water cleft cysts and retrodots, who began taking 5,000 international units of vitamin D a day, completely resolved their early stage cataracts. Well, before any of you start developing cataracts, you might want to start taking vitamin D. Here's another study conducted and published in this year, 2024. It's titled The Association Between Vitamin D Levels and Cataracts. And I'm just going to hit a few highlight points here. Decreased blood vitamin D levels was associated with a higher incidence of cataracts. In the subgroup analysis by the specific types of cataracts, significant association with vitamin D levels was found between blood levels of vitamin D and nuclear cataracts and posterior subcapsular cataracts, but not in the cortical cataracts. Cortical, if you remember, was around the peripheral edges of the lens. Nuclear and the posterior ones, the one on the back of the lens. So remember, nuclear is in the center, cataract, and then posterior was the one that looked like sand granules on the back of the lens. Those two, they found a direct correlation to vitamin D levels and cataract formation, but they do not find a vitamin D level load really makes a difference with cortical cataracts being diagnosed or not. As a reminder, here are the types of cataracts we showed you in part 1 of the cataract presentation. These are the 3 different types. The 3 different areas of the eyes are actually highlighted. But I want to change the title here. Notice I put types of cataracts fixed by vitamin D. And I put check marks and an X mark next to the ones that vitamin D helps and an X against the one that it doesn't work with. So nuclear cataracts are improved with vitamin D or prevented and reversed. And posterior subcapsular cataracts are improved with vitamin D, but cortical cataracts are not. 2/3 of all cataracts are improved with vitamin D levels or prevented or reversed. So you might as well take vitamin D to reduce your risk. The conclusion statement at the bottom of the screen. This meta-analysis reviewing a whole bunch of research studies revealed potential association between blood vitamin D levels and cataracts. More significant even in females. And the subtypes of nuclear cataracts and PSC cataracts were the ones most indicated to have a direct correlation to vitamin D load or levels in the blood. We do carry vitamin D3 at Nature Wins. This is the one that we carry. You'll see it on the screen. And our dosage is 5,000 IUs in the capsule. Just happened to be, that's what we already formulated it to carry. It's exactly the dose that they state in these studies you need to take every single day to prevent 2 types of the 3 types of cataracts. Now we're going to dive into quercetin. Quercetin metabolism in the lens. Quercetin, if you remember, comes from the rinds of fruits, primarily grapefruits, lemons, limes, oranges, you name it. All right, so we're just going to hit some highlights here about quercetin and cataracts. Quercetin is called a bioflavonoid found from plants. Oxidative stress, oxygen in the eyes, is an initiating factor in the development of maturity onset cataracts. So they're telling you here, stress and oxygen species in the eyes leads to, as you get older, cataracts. The oxidizing agent, hydrogen peroxide, which is, it has, look at the acronym, H2O2. That means it has 2 molecules of oxygen. That means it has more oxygen than water. Water's H2O. Oxygen, increased oxygen creates oxidative stress. So they're telling you the oxidizing agent, hydrogen peroxide, is present in normal aqueous humor, the little body of water in front of your lens of your eye, where vitamin C is also, is present in normal aqueous humor at concentrations of approximately 20 to 30 micromoles and is reported to be raised up to 660 micromoles in patients with cataracts. However you read those measurements, I just want you to know, look at the number. Hydrogen peroxide at normal levels in people without cataracts is at 20 to 30 in the body of water in front of the lens called the aqueous humor. But in people with cataracts, it's up to 660. That's a lot more than 10 times. That's more than 20 times. That's a lot higher in cataracts. So how do you reduce the oxygen load? I already told you, vitamin C, vitamin D. But now we're going to talk about quercetin. In labs, lens culture experiments, they took hydrogen peroxide at these higher concentration. And when they put a lens in hydrogen peroxide loaded Petri dishes, It actually causes the lens to create a cataract, even just sitting on the table, and produces a pattern of oxidative damage similar to that found in human cataracts. Evidence suggests that hydrogen peroxide is likely to be a major oxidant involved in cataract formation in man. The flavonoids, like quercetin, are a group of polyphenolic compounds. Polyphenolic means multiple plant-based compounds, diverse in chemical structure and characteristics that exert a wide range of antioxidant properties. They drive down hydrogen peroxide and oxygen. They are found ubiquitously in plants and are a major component of dietary antioxidant intake. If you ate those vitamin C rich foods I showed you, that's the dietary antioxidant foods. There is disease evidence that intake of fruits and vegetables lowers the risk for cataracts in humans, just like I showed you. Furthermore, we have previously shown that quercetin, a major dietary flavonoid, is an effective inhibitor of hydrogen peroxide-induced lens opacification. Quercetin and bioflavonoids are effective inhibitors of hydrogen peroxide-inducing cataracts. The aim of this research was to investigate lenticular uptake, lens uptake, and metabolism of quercetin to determine how metabolism affects protection against oxidative cataract formation. Oxidative stress is implicated in the initiation of old people's onset cataracts. Maturity is what they say. That's a better word, probably. Senior citizens' onset cataracts. Quercetin, a major flavonol in the diet, inhibits lens cataracts in a lens organ culture oxidative model of cataracts. Opacification means you can't see through it. If you had a clear glass and all of a sudden it's frosted, you can't see through it. It's now opaque. Opacification. That's a cataract. Cloudiness. The aim of this research with quercetin was to investigate the metabolism of quercetin in the lens and show how its metabolism affects the ability to prevent oxidation-induced opacity. They found that quercetin and a form of quercetin both inhibited hydrogen peroxide-induced sodium and calcium influx and lens cloudiness, cataract formation. Quercetin and another form of quercetin called methylquercetin both inhibited hydrogen peroxide-induced cataracts. The results indicate dietary quercetin and metabolites are active in inhibiting oxidative damage in the lens and thus could play a role in prevention of cataract formation. This is a study from 1997 I want to highlight on the left. Quercetin protects against hydrogen peroxide-induced cataracts. Remember, there's already hydrogen peroxide in every part of our body. It should be at a very low level in our eyeball, in the little body of water in front of the lens. When that goes up, you see cataracts form, and quercetin reverses it. Quercetin protects against hydrogen peroxide. Now, I'm just going to highlight a few statements from this study that's almost 30 years old now. I just want to drive this home. It's not just one study. This is over and over and over. Epidemiological evidence suggests that diets rich in fruits and vegetables, and therefore by interference antioxidants, are associated with a reduced risk of developing cataracts. The more vegetables and fruits you eat that have these flavonoids and vitamin C in it and antioxidants, the less likely you are to develop cataracts. In this study, we have investigated the antioxidant action of the plant phenolic from a plant quercetin in an ex vivo oxidative model of cataracts. The main dietary sources of this flavonoid, quercetin, are onions, apples, broccoli, wine, and tea, in case y'all didn't know. Our results show that in this cataract model, quercetin is effective at low micromolar concentrations. You don't need a whole lot. You can do microdosing of quercetin from even plants or supplement it. Quercetin is effective at low micromolar concentrations in protecting against hydrogen peroxide-induced cataracts. Quercetin was also effective at preventing the hydrogen peroxide-induced influx of both calcium and sodium into the lens. Figure 3A shows that by hour 12, 1 millimole of hydrogen peroxide increased the lens oxidized glutathione above control levels, and that quercetin at all three concentrations were ineffective at preventing this from happening. It didn't matter what amount of hydrogen peroxide. It didn't matter how much quercetin they gave them. It's still improved and increased no matter how much you gave them of quercetin. It didn't matter how much. You can see on the left of the screen, right at the left of that statement, you'll see there's 3 different amounts of quercetin in that first table: 3 micromoles, 10 micromoles, and 30. It didn't matter what amount they gave them. Glutathione just skyrocketed, and glutathione helps to reverse cataracts and reduce antioxidants. And glutathione is something your liver makes. This is quercetin from our Dr. Ardis Show Nature Wins brand, quercetin. And as you can see here, you're going to see I'm going to recommend with quercetin from these studies 1,500 milligrams, which is going to be 2 of the capsules of our quercetin supplement. This one was a shocker to me, and I'm so excited to show you this because I love talking about taurine. I have done many shows on this. I'll give credit to Dr. Stephanie Seneff from MIT. She wrote a book called Toxic Legacy about the pesticide called glyphosate, or Roundup, the weed killer. 90% of all farms in America supposedly have toxic levels of glyphosate. Glyphosate, as you learn in the book Toxic Legacy, depletes the human body of taurine. Well, taurine is a supplement I carry, and I've educated people on the significance about why we need to be consuming it supplemented wise. But here's a study right here from 2021. During the COVID-19 pandemic, taurine supplementation protects lens against glutathione depletion. The lower glutathione goes, the more you're going to develop cataracts in the lens. Taurine protects that. All right, here we go. Age-related nuclear cataracts is associated with the loss of glutathione in the center of the lens. So now you're learning there's hydrogen peroxide in the aqueous humor, the little water chamber. You're learning there's vitamin C inside the lens. You're also learning there's now there is taurine, or sorry, glutathione in the center of the lens of everyone's eyes. Taurine is an important antioxidant in lens tissue. Although there is a high amount of taurine in lenses in early life, its concentration declines with age. This is most likely because of oxidative stress, the crap we eat, the things we're exposed to, the drugs we're on. Just so you know, this lowered glutathione is a massive side effect of all the drugs I showed you in part 1, which is why prescription medications are so directly causing the epidemic of cataracts around the world and blindness. In this study, they aim to investigate the effects of supplemented taurine in lens tissues in an in-body oxidative stress model, which is induced by glutathione depletion to mimic this type of cataract called age-related nuclear cataract, the center of your eye cataracts. And this is what they did. This is important to follow. They're going to have to induce glutathione depletion to create lenses, and they're going to use a chemical like a drug to induce glutathione to go down and to create cataracts in the lens of a real human's eyeball. It might not be a human, but it's going to be a real eyeball. Here we go. Glutathione depletion was induced in rabbits. Yeah, good. Glad I corrected that because I'm about to show you pictures of these rabbits' eyes, and that's why I was like, oh no, this isn't a human study. Glutathione depletion was induced in rabbits. They know how to create glutathione deficiency by injecting something called L-buthionine, sulfoxamine, a glutathione inhibitor, and the rabbits were treated then afterwards with taurine. The results were the BSO, the drug-induced rabbits, had lowered glutathione, the GSH, and total glutathione levels, and glutathione to GSSG ratios. Taurine reversed these effects. So even though it was drug-induced, chemical-induced, to lower glutathione, increase cataract formation, taurine reversed the levels of glutathione even when drugs decreased it. These findings suggest that dietary intake of taurine may have an important role in decelerating the process of cataract formation. How amazing is that? Any of you got cataracts and you want to slow it down or prevent it? You might want to make sure your loved one or you are taking taurine. Right out of the study, glutathione is the essential and primary antioxidant in the lens. Just like you learned about vitamin C being an antioxidant for the lens of your eyes, glutathione is essential and primary. The lens of the eyes contains a high amount of reduced glutathione. Decreased glutathione levels have been reported in human cataractus lenses. This loss is thought to be due to oxidation of glutathione. since the levels of oxidized glutathione rise significantly once cataracts develop, meaning now glutathione's in the eyes, but it now has oxygen bound to it. It is now oxidized, and you start to see cataracts develop. Treatment with this drug chemical called buthionine sulfoxamine leads to decreased cellular glutathione levels, and its application can provide a useful experimental model of glutathione deficiency in humans. This model depends on continuous depletion of glutathione, which is based on the inhibition of this enzyme called YGCS by the drug called BSO, which was previously shown in mice, rats, and rabbits. Now, the reason why I highlighted this mice, rats, and rabbits, you have to remember for my Healing for the Ages conference in September 2023, I put up on the screen, every time human beings do research on mice, they say the reason we study mice is because they have the exact same genes that all humans do. And they publish, we study mice first with all chemicals, all drugs, all vaccines, because if it's going to happen in a mouse, it's going to happen in a human, end quote. So when they're telling you they can use medications or chemicals, like in this scenario with rabbits, to lower glutathione and induce cataract formation, they've already proven this with mice, rats, and rabbits' eyes. So this chemical is called buthionine sulfoxamine. I just hate showing audiences anything that they don't have an understanding of what it is. So I'm going to show you what this chemical is, because it's going to tell you a lot about why they're using it in this study. It's abbreviated BSO, is a sulfoxamine, sulfur oxamine derivative, which reduces the levels of glutathione in any human or mammal or rabbit, and is being investigated as an adjunct with chemotherapy for cancer treatment. Now, that's interesting. They're using this drug for cancer treatment. It's really funny because right when I read it, I was like, wow, I wonder if what this stuff does to parasites. You're about to read. The BSO compound inhibits gamma-glutamyl cysteine synthetase, the enzyme required in the first step of your body making glutathione, including your lens and eyeball. This substance, BSO, may also be used to increase the sensitivity of parasites to oxidative antiparasitic drugs. Now, just so you know, most cancers are parasites. This is why they said they're using this drug to reduce glutathione and finding it beneficial for cancer. No, it's killing parasites and they know it. So as you kill parasites, cancers go away. Now let's go back to taurine. Taurine is a free sulfur beta amino acid found in animal tissues, including you. Quantitative analysis of the whole eye tissue, extracts of rat eyes, revealed that taurine was the most abundant amino acid in the retina, what you see with the vitreous, the humor that holds water, the big chamber of water, the lens of the eye, the cornea, the iris, and the ciliary body of the eye. The biosynthetic capacity of humans to produce taurine is limited in neonates. So the ability of the body to make taurine is low in babies. Also, it declines with aging and in some pathological conditions such as trauma and sepsis. In these situations, the diet is likely to be an important taurine source. You're going to have to eat it because your body doesn't make it. That's why they call it essential. In those drug-induced treated rabbits, this was the results of their study, lens opacification, lens cataracts was visible at the end of the treatment period, which was only 2 weeks. They gave the drug and they waited 2 weeks. Cataracts were forming within 2 weeks. When they gave those same rabbits the chemical, and at the same time after giving them the injection of the chemical and waiting 2 weeks, they gave them taurine for the 2 weeks. It says here, they discovered, whereas BSO plus taurine treated rabbits did not manifest any cataracts being formed. The representative photographs for each group are shown. I can't wait to show you this because it's amazing. If you've ever wondered if there's something you can do about cataracts, I'm about to show you. This was in 2 weeks. It's incredible. All right, so I'm about to show you 4 images of 4 rabbits' eyes in this study. Remember, they study animals because they know it's going to happen in a human. This first, as you see below, represents the lenses of the control rabbits. This means they didn't give this animal anything. It's just a normal rabbit. They didn't give it a chemical. They didn't give it taurine. That's just what their normal eye looks like. Let's look at the next one. This is B. B is the animals that they gave the chemical to lower glutathione and induce cataracts. And within 2 weeks, that's what it looks like. Look how much smaller the pupil area is. Look how much bigger the cataract clouded area is. Now watch this. The next one is they're going to give the chemical that created this cataract in 2 weeks. You see top right. Now they're going to give them taurine with it the whole time. Now remember, part 1 of my cataract presentation was all the drugs that induce cataracts. You've got to put your mindset into what I'm showing you here. They're inducing in another mammal with a drug, they're inducing glutathione depletion to cause cataract formation in 2 weeks or less. Drugs do this. I showed you in part 1 all the drugs. If you or a loved one are on any of the drugs in part 1 and you don't think there's anything you can do about your cataracts, I'm showing you right now, if you take taurine, watch what happened. So they gave the same amount of the chemical drug in B here to another set of rabbits and then gave them taurine right afterwards every day. And look what happened. These are the animals treated with the drug that induces cataracts, but then they gave them taurine at the same time. Look at its eye. It looks just like the first one. So don't tell me if you're on drugs that I showed you in part 1 that you don't think there's anything you can do about it because you've been prescribed these drugs, you don't know what to do. Yes, you do. You need to be taking taurine. Now watch what happened when they just gave the animals taurine. All right, so they had top left is an animal with nothing. Top right, they gave a drug that caused the development of cataracts in 2 weeks. You see what that looks like. Then they gave taurine to them, and you see perfect eyes with the chemical and C. Then you go to window D. They just gave the animal taurine for 2 weeks, and look, his eye's perfect anyway. Taurine. Treatment with the chemical, the drug to induce cataracts, lowered. This says here, treatment with the drug significantly lowered the reduced glutathione and the total glutathione levels in the eyes of the rabbits. When the animals were fed with taurine at the same time as the drug treatment, both glutathione and total glutathione levels were reversed back to normal. And you can see it on the screen. You'll see it at the right. The black bar represents the chemical given only rabbits. So they're measuring the total glutathione in their eyes after 2 weeks. You'll see the level, the solid black bar is the lowest. Glutathione just went down. And lens, you saw the lens. That was B. That's B in this one. Top right. The third bar is BSO, the drug plus taurine. And you'll see glutathione levels go up. And then you'll see when they just gave taurine, glutathione went up just a little bit higher, but it was actually a little bit lower than the control group. So you can do the taurine. It's going to be amazing. BSO treatment lowered reduced glutathione as well as taurine reversed this effect. So you'll show here this ratio between these 2 parts of glutathione. They're just showing you taurine with the chemicals, taurine by itself outperformed and helped to reverse cataracts in the rabbits' eyeballs. At present, they discussed the treatment of cataracts requires removing the cataract lens through surgery and replacing it with the synthetic lens to restore the transparency of the lens for a better vision. Although cataract surgery is considered to be a relatively safe procedure, it is expensive and it can cause post-surgical complications such as posterior or capsular opacification. That's the one that occurs within 12 months of getting a vitrectomy surgery. Therefore, alternative preventative therapies, which will cause less complications for the patients and which will have less economic burden, are needed to be investigated. And this study and their conclusion reflects 2 main points. Both glutathione and taurine are crucial for the maintenance of transparency of the lenses of your eyes. One point is this: as the lens age, the balance between reduced and oxidized forms of glutathione is disrupted in favor of oxidized, more oxygen glutathione, which you need to reduce with taurine, quercetin, vitamin D, and vitamin C. The second point is that the level of taurine decreases with age in lens tissue. The protective role of taurine in reestablishing the glutathione balance reveals its importance as an antioxidant in lens tissues. Therefore, supplementation of taurine, an important antioxidant in lens tissue, which normally decreases with age, may have a therapeutic role in decelerating the process of cataract formation. And I want to show you taurine. That's at Nature Wins. That's at the Dr. Ardis Show. This is our taurine at Nature Wins. Now, it comes with 500 milligrams a dose, but I recommend everybody take 2 capsules of those if you're going to do taurine and you have any vision blurriness or cataract formation whatsoever. They published that in our study, taurine supplementation replenished the glutathione levels. In another, this is from the same study, and I could not believe I read this in the taurine study. It's the same study. I just had to show you this. In another human study by Carey and the researchers, N-acetylcysteine inhibited the same drug-induced cataracts and reversed back glutathione levels. Those decreased by BSO, the drug, and inhibited lipid peroxidation. There's already been another previous study done where they found N-acetylcysteine does the same thing taurine does to prevent glutathione being lost from drugs being induced or introduced into a mammal. N-acetylcysteine of both studies, which are based on glutathione depletion, are in agreement, although the antioxidant agents that are used are different. Taurine and N-acetylcysteine, both antioxidants, found the same thing. You can prevent cataract formation with N-acetylcysteine, with taurine, with vitamin C, with vitamin D, and with quercetin. This is the study they're quoting about N-acetylcysteine. It's from a medical journal called Free Radical Biology and Medicine, and I'm only highlighting the title of the study. It is from 2011. It's titled In Vivo Inhibition of that same drug-induced cataracts by a novel antioxidant called N-acetylcysteine. What is N-acetylcysteine? Well, it's very conveniently packaged into a supplement called N-acetylcysteine at the Dr. Ardis Show. Nature Wins is the brand. I would be remiss if I don't show you this. Each of the initial research studies I went into looking for what are the known preventative agents and antidotes to cataracts, which I just showed you. It just so happened each of those 4 or 5 products happened to be something I already carry. Ironically, these products I don't carry. So I want to show them to you anyway, because this isn't about me just selling you stuff. It's about you making sure you know what your options are and go get them. I don't care if you buy any of the products I just mentioned from my website or where you buy this one from, but I'm going to show you the companies I trust the most. Well, of course, I trust my own. I formulate my own products, but this one, I'm going to be recommending a product from somewhere else, but you don't have to get it there either. I just need to show you this because I find this amazing. This is titled Your Preventative Medical Treatment of Senile Cataracts with Vitamin E and Vaccinum myrtillus. Clinical Evaluation. Now, vitamin E, you guys all know. Vaccinum myrtillus, you may not know. But I'm going to show you what that is. Vitamin E in combination with some plant called Vaccinum myrtillus. Vaccinum myrtillus, or European blueberry, is a Holarctic species of shrub with an edible fruit of blue color, known by the common name bilberry. Well, I know a lot of y'all know what bilberry is. This is what they're talking about. They're talking about bilberry. Okay, I don't carry bilberry. Lots of companies do. This is an abstract from the study about bilberries and vitamin E being used to reverse cataracts. 50 outpatients, 21 men and 29 women, aged average 67 years, ranging from 48 years old to 81 years old, suffering from mild cortical cataracts, undergoing therapy with vitamin E and with bilberry for 4 months. They took vitamin E and bilberry for 4 months in a combination tablet they called FAR1, F-A-R-1. FAR1, the combination of vitamin E and bilberry, was able to stop the lens opacity, cataract progress, in 97% of the eyes. No untoward effects or adverse drug reactions were recorded. Isn't that amazing? How could I not show you this? 97% of all those men and women, 21 men, 29 women, their cataracts were reversed using vitamin E and bilberry extract. Now, bilberry extract happens to be another antioxidant. So I just want to show you there are things you can do to reverse cataracts and improve cataracts and prevent them. It is not only surgery as you are being sold. Here is one of my favorite brands that carries an organic bilberry extract. Now, vitamin E you can get anywhere. I don't carry a vitamin E, but you can go get your own. But bilberry extract, I wanted you to know about mountain rose herbs, I really love this company. I've used them for years while I was in practice. You can get various sizes of Bilberry. I would recommend following the recommendations on the bottles of the manufacturers, whoever you get Bilberry from. This is a summary. I don't typically do this, but I wanted to summarize this because so many people over the last several years have asked me to do a presentation on cataracts. I'm trying to make this as easy as possible. Remember, you don't have to take a screenshot. You can if you want to. This is going to be in a PDF form on our website under Patient Resources tab. You can download the whole PowerPoint presentation. So for cataract prevention and treatment, these are my recommendations. Taurine at 1,000 milligrams a day, N-acetylcysteine at 1,500 milligrams a day, vitamin C at 1,000 milligrams a day, vitamin D3, 5,000 IUs a day, Quercetin, 1,000 milligrams a day, and then bilberry extract. Follow the recommendations from manufacturers. Again, you can scan our code if you found this beneficial. You want to be abreast of when we're actually going to release our next podcast, our next Destroying the Narrative on healthcare, on some other topic, you name it. We will notify you by email every time a new presentation comes up. This is our book. Don't forget to get it. If you haven't got it already, you haven't read it. Moving Beyond the COVID-19 Lies, Restoring Health and Hope for Humanity. I am Dr. Brian Ardis. This is the Dr. Ardis Show. I hope you found this helpful. I cannot wait. I hope you guys and girls out there all over the world, regardless, wherever you get the products from, the supplements from, or how you make your dietary changes, as I suggested here. If you find that you've taken these protocols and these suggestions in the research I'm providing, and you're seeing value in your own life, reversal of any symptoms or scenarios, particularly even cataracts in this one, if you find that your life is being improved by anything we're suggesting, I want to hear about it. It keeps me excited and motivated to continue doing this research, digging into papers all over the world, buying books from all over the world and research medical journals, just to find these nuggets of truths to give you hope where you are not being given hope by the medical profession. I'm Dr. Ardis. God bless you. And I look forward to hearing from you. And I hope that you have a great rest of your day and a great rest of your week. We will see you next week with more information, education, data, solutions. This is a celebration of solutions. Everything I do, the Healing for the Ages, the Dr. Ardis Show, it's all about celebrating the cures and antidotes and solutions God gave us in nature. We'll see you next time on the Dr. Ardis Show. God bless.